Hi, this is Christopher Spera for iTechGear.org, and today is October 5th, Tuesday, Windows 11 Day, and I've got a very, very special unboxing today. I have the Surface Laptop Studio and the Slim Pen 2. So, this is very interesting. I was able to go ahead and get on the waiting list very quickly, and I wanted to go ahead and pull one of these for the site simply because this is the and I'm a huge Surface Book fan, and this is one of the biggest upgrades to the whole Surface Book line. And the device in and of itself is supposed to be, it is a radical redesign and step away from what has largely been the more enterprise-centric version of, and the more professional version of what initially was the Surface Pro. The Surface Pro, as you know, is basically and I've got a version of something like it here to speak to. Is basically a tablet-like device. This is a Lenovo X12 detachable, but it's a Surface Pro competitor. All right, Surface Pro tablet device, right, with a detachable keyboard. Right, the Surface Book is effectively the laptop only. Well, it's a lot more laptop oriented device with a detachable screen, but you've got to physically pull it off, and then there's no easy way of flipping this thing around and working with it. The laptop, the device in and of itself, the screen doesn't flip all the way back. All right, it opens up about that far, and that's it. It will detach, and you can effectively flip the screen around and then fold flat if you want to have a tablet device that you can carry around with the additional battery and power from the keyboard. But unfortunately, it's heavy, and it's not as easy to work with in detaching the screen as the Surface Pro is. Now, the Surface Laptop Studio is the next generation Surface Book. So while the Surface Book is all nice, cool, and wonderful, and I love it to death, the Surface Laptop Studio is supposed to be more for creators. It is Surface Dial compatible, which means that you'll be able to go ahead and use the Surface Dial either on device or to the side. It is also, like I said, compatible with the Surface Pen 2, and Microsoft really made this difficult to get into this particular box to get to the pen. Oh, good night, nurse. All of this for that. It's a bit much. It's a bit much in packaging. Sorry, Mother Earth. Okay, so this is the Slim Pen 2. We'll take a look at this a little bit more. It's no different really in design than the than the original Surface Pen, but this one is compatible with the Surface Laptop Studio. Now, I've been dying to get into this since it arrived this afternoon, and been waiting with bated breath all day long, and I finally just couldn't take it anymore. And I finally said, you know, I've been a good boy. So now, I don't know how sustainable the packaging is here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull it up like this, just because it pulls out. Alright, so it's boxed in there with a piece of waxed tissue paper surrounding the entire box. Alright, and this is it. And I just want to make certain that there's nothing else. I'll grab that in just a minute. But I want to make certain that there's nothing else in any of these cardboard. I don't think that there are, but new product and you never know. No, there's not. There's nothing in there. Good. So that's a lot. Nifty box for pulling this thing together, but man, and it is branded with a Microsoft Surface logo on the inside, on both ends. So, yippee. But interestingly enough, the device comes pre-packaged, and it is branded with the Windows 11 logo. And I'm just gonna, I tried. Here is the Surface Laptop Studio. Now this is a the 11th generation i7 with 16 gigabytes of RAM, a half terabyte SSD, and the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 3050 Ti GPU in Platinum. And let's pop the top. Now, to be honest, I wouldn't normally go through all of these packaging boxes, especially with this, simply because there's going to be a lot of gratuitous and extraneous packaging pieces along with that probably we wouldn't necessarily want or need to see. But to be honest, this is a new generation device. This is probably it's a completely radically changed design for what is replacing the Surface Book, which had a detachable screen. Now this one moves forward. It doesn't come away from the body, and I'm interested to know and see in real life how this thing works. Now, so very solid packaging, and it comes wrapped it's very Apple-esque. Ooh, that's hefty. That is hefty. That's got a good weight to it, and it also appears to be somewhat thicker than your MacBook Air, definitely thicker than the MacBook Pro, and thicker than I think the book. All right, but in here I've got the Surface Book, I've got documentation, and I've got the charging brick. Now this is supposed to be compatible and work with the standard Surface dock and Surface connector. But let's take a quick look just to make certain that is the case. Now this is also Thunderbolt 4 compatible. And yes, it does have the standard Surface connector with the charging plates there on the side. So you can go ahead and use this with a Surface Dock 2, or you should be able to use this with a number of Thunderbolt 2, or Thunderbolt 3 docks that are out on the market today. I'm actually just going to go ahead and I'll end up putting the charger and whatnot back in the box, because I've got the Surface Dock 2 that I'll be using with my Surface setup on the other end of my desk. Standard Microsoft Windows logo. It is not Windows 11. It just says Microsoft Windows in the hologram there, but with the Surface connector. So I'm glad that it still has that, because that Surface Dock was a little on the pricey side. But let's go ahead and take a look at the hardware, and I'm gonna do my best to lift this up so you can see it after I get it out of the wrap. Now this is a magnesium and I think titanium based cover, so it's got both, and it's nice, it's heavy, it's professional, professionally feeling and looking. But man, that's thick. That is thick, and it's very similar in feel to the Surface Book that it replaces. If we open it up, got a little bit of schmutz on the thing. What I'm most curious about, and there's a little bit of tissue inside. You open it up and immediately it goes into the Windows setup. Now you see it's got the dots. Now with Windows 11 it's supposed to be that changed swirl. All right. Now on Windows 11, the Insider builds, it does that. It's got the changed, updated hourglass, circular, single barred circular hourglass. This has been all Windows 10 style dots so far. So it's interesting. What it's going to go ahead and it's going to want to run through setup. Now, unfortunately, and it's going to cost me probably just a few extra dollars. Very nice. Windows 11 logo in blue, and it wants to. This is a completely different setup. You did not see this when you upgraded to Windows 11 on the Insider Dev or Beta or even Release Preview channels. This is going to be this standard setup process.
To set up your device using a screen reader, turn on Narrator by pressing Windows plus Control plus Enter. For more accessibility features, press Windows plus U, or select the accessibility icon in the bottom corner.
Very nice that Microsoft is accessibility capable, but new setup process. So this will run through. It's asking me for local language localization, and it's asking me for a specific region. Choose United States. Keyboard, U.S. style keyboard, and I do not want to add a second keyboard layout. It's going to ask me to connect to my Wi-Fi network. Now, as I was saying before, the computer started talking about the accessibility features of Windows 11, which are pretty cool, by the way. With this particular Surface Laptop Studio, this is the home version, or the consumer version, which comes with Windows 11 Home. As a power user and a geek, should have opted or looked for links for the one that comes with Windows 11 Pro. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go ahead and pay for the upgrade myself, because I am not going to want to stick with home. It is not going to give me what I want in the long run. Connect to my Wi-Fi network. Checking the Wi-Fi requirements. It is connected and secured, and I will tap next. It is checking for Windows 11 updates. See, this is the weight. I don't know if you can see that very well. There it is. It's a little bit better. But that solid circle shooting around like that, that's the Windows 11 weight circle. All right. Not the dots that you see at the beginning on the black screen. I know that Microsoft has been in the process of changing that all the way through Windows 11, and they mentioned that it will take them time to get rid of the dots everywhere that they are within the operating system. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes with them. One of the biggest things, though, that I was interested in and curious about, the big thing about this particular device is actually the fact that it separates and moves forward. All right, so this is the studio related, or halfway through. All right, and then it will fold all the way back and down. And that is not as, that's actually good news, because I was actually very concerned about how this might, because you can tell that there's a gap here, right? You can tell that it's not 100% flat. It's somewhat tilted. We'll see how that, how things ink with the Surface Pen or Slim Pen later on. But I'm going to go ahead, because it says sit back now and relax while the magic happens. So we'll see how easy it is to move this thing back and forth in real life, and I'll have a full-blown review on itechgear.org, and we will cover it somewhat in the iTech Gear Weekly, iTech Gear's new podcast. So this is Christopher Spera for itechgear.org with the Surface Laptop Studio, and we're setting up dots again.